I'm really excited. It's been a great weekend of volleyball, and I'm excited to see what this last game has in store.
If you guys haven't been able to watch the other games, it's been 4 teams here in Mean Green Village. UNT invited Grambling State, South Dakota State, and McNeese State to come and play 3 games in 2 days. So the other teams will go home today after their games. Looking back at this weekend for UNT, UNT is 1-1 after a win against South Dakota State last night and a loss against McNeese State yesterday morning. They are now 7-2 in home openers, and Andrew Paoleo is sitting at 149 wins after the win against South Dakota State yesterday, so he has a chance to gain that 150th win here against Grambling State, so let's hope that he gets that. Some leaders from that game against South Dakota State in that win is Rhett Robinson, the all preseason, all conference, definitely a leader for UNT with 20 kills. Kenzie Smith with 7 aces out of the 13 aces. So I think UNT was very weaponized in their serves yesterday, and if they can continue that against Grambling State, this should be an easy win for them. After Grambling State suffering 2 losses this weekend against both McNeese and South Dakota State. So these are the last 2 teams to play here, and I'm excited to see what they do.
We talked about it yesterday just a little bit, that this Mean Green squad is the strongest on paper at this entire tournament.
Definitely, and you know, coming out of McNeese State over there, they came out set 1, guns blazing, won about 25-11, I think that first set was, and then came back and lost in 5, but came back later that day against South Dakota State and took care of business in 4. We have Kenzie Smith serving for UNT. Ibarra with the assist for Robinson, finds the crease and is able to hit there in between number 3, Sheila Borders, and number 4, Raven McKenzie. Number 11, Marissa Harris in for Grambling State. Kenzie Smith to serve. Serve is picked up. Out to the offside hitter, number 18, Samira Fields. She'll take her first kill in her stat book here today. Fields going back to serve now for Grambling State, all tied up 3-3 here early on in set 1.
It'll be interesting to see if this ends up being a toe-to-toe matchup, as Grambling State has lost both of their other games they've played at this tournament.
And once again, Anna Ibarra getting beat on that sideline. We've seen her a little bit too much creep into the middle. She's got to stay out and move her way in. Number 18, Fields to serve again, passes a little too tight on the net. They're gonna call Scopel as a back row attacker, giving Fields another chance to serve for her team. Score now 5-3. Grambling State leading by 2. Kenzie Smith is picked up. Rhett Robinson to send it back over. Number 4, Raven McKenzie taking a swing at it. And Robinson again! And it'll be the block of number 2, Tamaria Johnson, and number 10, Sage Rivers to put it down on Rhett Robinson. A rare thing here to see in Mean Green Village. Fields serving for Grambling State. It's picked up by Ibarra. Scopel to Johnson. Johnson recovers. Robinson to help out. Scopel sends it over. Ibarra with the assist for and that's going to be number 2, Addison Corley, a new freshman here on this team from Frisco, Texas. Reedy High School, 4-year letterman, and junior and senior year all district team. So very strong weapon to add here. She's a 6-foot outside hitter, so she should fit in well with this lineup for UNT. Service picked up by Smith. Skopel out to Robinson. Robinson finds the line. That's a beautiful spot for her. She's able to get up on that ball nice and high and still twist her body to turn it line. That's a great shot for Rhett Robinson. Casey Bortnam, the Corinth native, going back to serve for UNT. Service picked up. They're going to set it'll be Sarah Hausler to put her down on the block. Hit attempt by number 10, Sage Rivers. Casey Bortnam back to serve. Service picked up, sent out to Raven McKenzie. Tries to cover herself, and it'll be Kaylee Skopel, the setter, to get that one for her team.
It appears as though Grambling State has a hard time recovering from a block.
And it is it's pretty hard to recover from that mentally. You don't really want to swing again when something is put back in your face, but that was a beautiful hitch. Once again, we always talk about it, but that connection between Skopel and Hausler is absolutely lethal, and that's our favorite thing to run, is that hitch right behind Skopel's back pocket. Bortnam's serve is good. They're going to send it out to McKenzie. Bortnam to Smith in the back row, off the block, recovered. And libero for Grambling State will take it in an attempted overpass. It's looking very scrappy here. UNT hoping to recover here. Free ball over. It's picked up by Smith. Skopel out to Robinson. Robinson hitting that middle ground there right in front of number 18, Samara Fields. Is going to fall, giving Bortnam another chance to serve. And Katie Butler back in the game after playing yesterday and being another option for Coach Paoleo as a setter, perhaps after Kaylee Skopel leaves, and it's showing to work. Katie Butler and Sarah Hausler just had an amazing connection there, running that hitch that she likes to run with Skopel, and it worked. Grambling State is going to take their first time out here early on in set one, score 10-7, UNT up by 3. This is what they're wanting to see. They're looking for a shutout here after Grambling State was shut out by both South Dakota State and McNeese. 0-3, not a lot of stats going on there. In fact, the game against McNeese, they did not get past .17 on any of those 3 sets. First score was 25-16. Another 25-16 and 25-17 with only 22 kills as opposed to McNeese's 38 and 3 aces as opposed to McNeese's 11. So a lot of margin there, a lot of deficit on those differences of stats and stuff. So
we've talked about this before this game today. The coaching staffs between all of these teams are drastically different between this Grambling State team, which has one singular head coach in Demetria Keys-Johnson, whereas we talked yesterday about Andrew Paoleo and his new coaching staff, which is comprised of 2 assistant coaches, and McNeese State and South Dakota State follow suit in that.
Yeah, it's good to have fresh faces on your bench for sure, and these younger players that are coming up are coming in just as new as these new coaching staffs. So I think it's interesting to see. Bortnam's serve is good and picked up by libero Jada Taylor. It's going to go off a big block of Hausler. Free ball it over. Butler to Robinson off the block. Another one for Rhett Robinson after achieving her 1,000th career kill yesterday against McNeese State, about .23 in set 2. She got that 1,000th kill. All she needed was 4 more coming into this tournament. Smith with the pass. Butler out to Robinson on the outside. Robinson cutting it and hitting right in front of the 10-foot line. Impressive swing out of Rhett Robinson for sure. Casey Bortnam back to line to serve.
UNT now on an 8-0 scoring run.
I blame you for that one, Amanda.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
That's going to be outside Raven McKenzie to get the best out of libero Ibarra. Once again, cheating a little bit too much into that court. She's got to stay out on that back line. Number 6, Kaylee Caldwell.
From Houston, Texas, Klein High School. That's right where I'm from.
McKenzie to swing is picked up by Robinson. Butler with the dump. Left-handed, off-handed dump out of Katie Butler. Very impressive. Rhett Robinson headed back to line to serve for UNT. And serve is out. Jada Taylor, the libero, headed back to line to serve. 5'5", sophomore from Chicago, Illinois. Excuse me, it's going to be number 11, Marissa Harris. Picked up by Bortnam, overpass, and Butler battles. Picked up by Ibarra, Hausler to free ball. And it's going to be number 13, Alexis Everett, out of that front row to get that middle hit. Harris still serving for Grambling State. Picked up by Bortnam, beautiful pass. Butler out to Smith, finds the tip right behind the block of number 5, Dacine Can. Hausler back to serve for UNT. Serve is picked up and dump. Not one of those UNT players took one step forward. You could just see they were all pretty shocked. They were found back on their heels. They're going to have to regroup, get back to wanting to go for those balls there. Number 1, Jada Taylor back to serve for Grambling State and is way out. And number 2, Addison Corley back in to play front row for Casey Bortnam.
During that 8-0 scoring run, it looked as though Grambling State was almost running out of steam, but it's looks like they're coming back right now.
And Butler heads back to line to serve after a miss hit over there by Grambling State, giving UNT a free point. Serve is picked up, and wow, what a bullet that one was. It's going to be number 2, Tamaria Johnson. That flies out on the UNT side. Watch this serve by Katie Butler. Jump serve, low to the net. It's a bullet, and it's hard to control. And that's going to be number 5, Dacine Can, to find that gap right behind Addison Corley. Corley coming in a freshman, not redshirting. Right down the road in Frisco, Texas. Very successful at Reedy High School. But I think we can all agree at a collegiate level, it's a little more nerve-wracking. She's making her debut here today against Grambling State. And that's Corley on the outside!
You also think about
in the chest of number 3, Sheila Borders. Corley gets her second kill of the day.
You also think about it, Corley probably hasn't played in front of fans, if not, you know, this number or this many in a few years. As there's a good chance her senior season didn't allow fans inside, and she lost some, if not all, of her junior year season, if I'm not mistaken.
She came in a little bit too deep on that one, but it looks like Butler is feeding Corley. Out to Robinson, finding success in that back corner. That's a matchup that you can get used to seeing, the matchup between Katie Butler and Addison Corley with Rhett Robinson on the outside. They had Robinson on the offside yesterday, especially against McNeese State, and then started to move her more towards her home position, her outside, against South Dakota, and found success there. And it's going to be Addison Corley again with a tip this time. Kenzie Smith going back to the line to serve for UNT. Once again, those floater serves, just a little bit of a hop. Kenzie Smith is a pretty tall girl, so all she's got to do, a little bit of a hop. She keeps it low to the net. It's very hard to see. It's hard to judge. That one's a little bit higher. Grambling State just barely able to get a hand on it. UNT's going to use that free ball. Butler to Johnson on the middle. It's picked up by Taylor. And number 10, Sage Rivers, is the one to put it down if Grambling State hasn't grasped it already. UNT is not having a good time with those short tips. They are leaving that hole open. They're back on their heels. If I was Grambling State, I would, pull off on my hits a little bit more and utilize that middle ground. Alicia Johnson to get that one for UNT. Sarah Hausler back into play front row. Ibarra back to line to serve. Service picked up. And number 2, Tamaria Johnson, is going to swing away and swing out. Like I said, their past few hits have swung out. If I was Grambling State, play smarter, not harder.
That's a common theme with these teams. We talked about that yesterday. Play smarter, not harder.
And a big block out of Robinson, and Hausler is going to put it down to a hit attempted by Sage Rivers. And just like that, the score is 24-13. UNT up to take this first set. Grambling State having a little bit of deja vu from the South Dakota State game yesterday, only getting to 16 points. We'll see if UNT can keep them under, and they can. UNT will take set 1, 25-13. We'll have set 2 back in just a moment. Stick with us. Welcome back. We're here to bring you set 2 of this matchup between the University of North Texas and Grambling State University. UNT taking that first set looked absolutely electric. The score ended up being 25-13. UNT keeping them lower than the points that they scored against South Dakota State yesterday, only getting 16 points in almost all of their sets. I'm sorry, excuse me, Amanda. What do you think of this Grambling State team right now?
Well, I think that what they need to do is kind of focus on the little victory. Take a set first. Just talked about it. They couldn't get past point 17 yesterday. They didn't even get up to 16 today. Go for the little victory first as opposed to thinking, I need to win this whole thing. No, you need to win a set. You need to not get swept this time.
Exactly. And, you know, if I was head coach over there at Grambling State, I think the number one thing I would push right now is stop swinging. Stop swinging so hard. You're not finishing your hits. You're not getting them in. So do something else. Do a push to the corners. Get them out of system. Create some stress on the UNT side, because right now there is no stress.
Right.
They just won 25-13. And the good thing about this for UNT is they're able to try the different lineups. We got to see Addison Corley make her debut on the UNT court here today, and Katie Butler has been taking over setting as opposed to the usual stud, Kaylee Scopel. So it's good for UNT, able to, you know, get some reps in for those players that don't usually get them, or, you know, try some new things out. But for Grambling State, I would want to walk away here with a win. So that's what's definitely on their minds, and that's what I would say is, hey, you know, stop swinging. And it looks like we almost saw a libero change out of Aaliyah Galdera, but Ibarra is going to keep it. And that's Butler back to serve in Scopel's usual position. Corley will take first ball. Butler out to Smith is blocked. Butler again to Robinson in the back row, and she serves a bullet. Grambling State going to free ball it over, giving UNT another chance to run. Johnson, a little bit too high for Alicia Johnson. She's unable to get that one. And we see number 15, Avery McCrillis, going in for Kenzie Smith to serve receive pass. That's number 2, Tamaria Johnson, serving for Grambling State. Another mishap with Johnson. Maybe more of a connection that you're going to have to work at than a natural one for Butler and Johnson. Looks like Butler took off a little bit too early for McCrillis. A little bit of miscommunication on who was going to get that ball. It's a short serve. These short serves out of Tamaria Johnson is absolutely killing UNT serve receive right now. And just like that, the score is 4-0, Grambling State up. Robinson gets a hand on it. And Addison Corley, a beautiful line shot out of the outside position, is going to give her another kill. McCrillis back to serve. Picked up by Jada Taylor, the libero. And they're going to call a back row attack on setter number 6, Kaylee Caldwell. McCrillis to serve. Picked up, and what a bullet that one was. McCrillis with the pass. Ibarra with the assist for Robinson on the outside. Flies out just barely, giving Grambling State another point. Score now 5-2. UNT still down. Number 3, Sheila Borders in. And number 18, Samira Fields to play front row for Grambling State. Picked up by Ibarra. Butler back to Corley. Ibarra with some help to Robinson. Robinson trying to turn it. It's a little bit too much of an arc. Flies out, giving Grambling State another point. Scored now 6-2.
Grambling State has these little glimpses of greatness every now and again, but it just seems as they don't have the cohesive whole that UNT has, or that we saw with South Dakota State yesterday.
And Anna Ibarra will go back to the line to serve. Like I said, it looked like in between the set 1 and 2 there was going to be a libero change, but Galdera ultimately changed out of that libero jersey to keep it Ibarra. And some miscommunication is going to give the ball to UNT. Score now 6-4, UNT shortening that point deficit. Picked up and attempted. Is going to fall on Grambling State's side. UNT starting a roll here. And a little bit of an injury there on the Grambling State side.
Seems
Looks like
she
we see
might have
some blood.
skinned her knee when she went down on the 10-foot line.
Oh yeah, and you know, this floor will take off some skin.
It's not forgiving.
It's not great. No matter how you fall, you will have burns. You'll have, that one drew some blood, and we know in the rules of collegiate sports, you can't have any open wounds on the court. You have to bandage them up or pull them. So all bandaged up, we're going to give the ball back to Ibarra to serve, and Ibarra gets the ace. UNT a big leader in aces yesterday versus South Dakota State. They had 13, and out of those 13, Kenzie Smith had 7 aces.
I think we'll be seeing a lot more of Kenzie Smith this season.
And there's Galdera going back in to play defense. And Corley using the block gets another kill. Addison Corley coming out here swinging on that offside. Anna Ibarra to serve for UNT once again. Serve is shanked, just barely gets it over, and Sarah Hausler takes care of business. Sarah Hausler doing exactly what Sarah Hausler does. Short serve is picked up. Jada Taylor, libero, with the assist. Off the hands of Butler, Corley will free ball it over. And Robinson twists and finds the line on the outside. I believe that is the third line shot attempted and point made. A huge open opportunity there for UNT is that line shot, and it's up to Ibarra to tell her outside hitters that it's open. Finds success to Jada Taylor. Out to Raven McKenzie, and it's Hausler and Corley to put it down. Sarah Hausler also leading in blocks last game against South Dakota State with 5. And Hausler to tie her shoe.
It's the little things in life, like tying a shoe, that makes you realize they are human.
Service picked up and out to number 4, Raven McKenzie. Some confusion there. UNT uses the free ball on Sarah Hausler. Once again, Hausler and Butler using that hitch. She does a great job at staying right on the back pocket of her setter. There's going to be a timeout for Grambling State. UNT pulled forward early on there. Now 11-6. Also having the upper hand on sets, taking first set away from Grambling State at a whopping 25-13 points.
So what you just saw there with Grambling State is head coach Demetria Keys-Johnson talking specifically to her libero and Jada Taylor. But you don't see that a lot on this UNT team. We didn't see that yesterday with South Dakota State. That's what happens when you only have a singular head coach and you don't. And she has to take the reins of every other position that you have in the coaching staff. So instead of having a team circle and talking to the whole team, you end up having to spend these moments working on a singular thing with a team and then having to have a separate circle with the whole team.
No, you can definitely tell that UNT has the upper hand here, especially when you have a strong coaching staff and you can get more reps in for your girls. You know, both of UNT's assistant coaches are great at mocking those shots and making sure they get those reps in, and you can see that in warm-ups. And Ana Ibarra back to the line to serve. Serve is picked up and tight on the net. A great pancake by Ibarra is just barely sent back over. It's tight on the net again. And it won't go over for Grambling State. A lot of miscommunication there on the front row. A beautiful pancake by Ana Ibarra. That's really what makes a great libero, is taking those chances and getting on the floor when you need to. Unfortunately, that serve is out, giving the ball back to Grambling State. Coming back in to serve is number 9, Destiny Johnson. Score now 12-7, UNT leading. Ball is picked up by Galdera, back to Corley. Wow! What a swing out of Addison Corley. Hitting Jada Taylor, libero, in the chest. That's almost too fast to even see with your own eyes. Bortnum will go back to the line to serve. Service picked up by libero Taylor. And a miss swing out of number 18, Samira Fields. Swinging over there on the outside is number 8, Corey Calloway. Jayla Taylor headed back to the line to serve, and number 2, Tamaria Johnson back in. Service picked up. Butler to Robinson in the middle. Out to Callaway. It's going to be out. McCrillis back in for Galdera to play front row, with Robinson headed back to line to serve. Score now 15-8. Service picked up by Jada Taylor. Butler to Hausler, finds the tip. While Grambling State is on the run, Sarah Hausler doing a great job on getting them out of system. Number 8, Corey Calloway out, and number 17, Aliyah Bell in. Pass is tight on the net, but recovered. Butler back to Hausler on the hitch, and it is impossible. But you can definitely tell where number 3, Sheila Borders, went wrong. She cheated way too much in the back. You know, it's hard for a setter to remember she plays defense first, and that's what's most important here. And Grambling State struggling on that serve receive. And McCrillis gets the kill after a touch by number 9, Destiny Johnson on the back row. Rhett Robinson to serve for UNT. Picked up by Taylor, but off the net. Number 17, Aliyah Bell, taking a swing at it. McCrillis to Taylor. And Grambling will free ball it over. Bortnum to Butler, out to McCrillis on the outside. You can see the frustration out of Jada Taylor right now. Serve is picked up. Bortnum out to McCrillis on the outside, into the block. Nothing is able to stop this UNT team right now. Robinson's serve is out. Grambling State just trying to put a stop to the bleeding here. In for number 18, Samira Fields, is number 6, Kaylee Caldwell, to serve. And number 10, Sage Rivers, makes a reappearance. Caldwell's serve gets the best of Bortnum. Score now 20-10. UNT having double the points, but hoping to keep them under 13. Back to McCrillis, and the block of Rivers, and Johnson will put McCrillis' hit down. Caldwell to serve for Grambling State. Picked up by Ibarra, tight on the net for Butler. McCrillis tip off the hands of Caldwell. It's going to be McCrillis' kill once again. Alicia Johnson back in to play front row, and Hausler headed back to line to serve. Serve is picked up by Taylor. Out to Bell, and is no good.
It's got to be gut-wrenching for this Grambling State team because they can see what they're doing, they know what they're doing wrong, but it's hard to fix it. It just seems like there's not enough communication on that side. But it could be any number of things.
And McCrillis gets the best with the tip once again. Sometimes on the court, there's just one team that's better than the other, and in this case, UNT is better than Grambling State, so you have to work harder, you have to be more disciplined to beat a team that you just know is more skilled than you at this moment. Hit is picked up by Bortnum, out to McCrillis on the outside. They're gonna call number 2, Tamaria Johnson, in the net, giving UNT and Sarah Hausler back to ball, and just like that, it is 24-11. UNT hoping to close out this second set, keeping them underneath 13. Taylor's pass is off the net, returned by McCrillis, and off the hands. Once again, Avery McCrillis getting one for her and her stat book. End score of this set, 25-11, after a previously 25-13 short first set. We'll come back with the third. Stay with us. welcome back for set 3 here at Mean Green Village. This matchup between UNT and Grambling State is shown to be a short one. Here, it only being about 45 minutes after game time was set to start, and we are already starting set 3. Maybe because those first two were pretty short, UNT sweeping the first two out of Grambling State 25-13, and this most recent set 2 25-11.
Well, looking at Grambling State's schedule last year, they went 8-9 overall. Most of their games were swept. They're not a team that goes to 5 games, 4 games. It's 3 sets, either you win or you lose. That's it.
And we see Aaliyah Galdera back in the libero jersey. And this time Butler starting in the setter position as opposed to the usual Kaylee Skokel. You could definitely tell that Andrew Paoleo is using this opportunity of a more less pressing team on the other side of the net to kind of try out some new things. Service picked up by Galdera. Butler to Robinson in the back row. Off the block is covered. Butler to Smith on the offside. Smith's tip is out, giving the first point to Grambling State in this third set. Service picked up by Smith. Butler out to Corley. On the net, tight. Johnson taking a swing at it. And Corley once again! Addison Corley, the 6-foot freshman from Frisco, Texas, gets another one in her stat book. You can hear the bench going, she's a freshman. And it's going to be up in the rafters for Kenzie Smith's pass, giving the ball back to Grambling State, and number 18, Samira Fields, going back there to serve. Picked up by Galdera. Butler to Johnson in a clean swing. A free ball for UNT. Butler out to Robinson in the outside. And it's number 10, Rivers, and number 2, Johnson, to put her down. Number 18, Samira Fields, back to serve. Picked up by Smith, but off the net. Galdera will help to Robinson. Off the hands of Taylor, it is Robinson's kill. Hausler making a reappearance back in the front row as Galdera heads back to the line. Score now 3-2. Grambling State still leading by 1. UNT leading in sets 2-0. And Fields takes a swing at it. It's picked up. Butler to Corley off the block. Butler to Robinson outside, picked up by Taylor. Out to McKenzie. Off of Butler's hand, Smith tries to get it, and Galdera sends it over!
Wow, that was really impressive.
And after all the efforts of Smith, Butler, and Galdera, they pay off. Rivers' hit is out, giving the ball back to Galdera.
What a save that was.
A good libero never gives up on a ball, and that's what we just saw out of Aaliyah Galdera. And they're going to find Grambling State in the net, giving the ball back to Galdera. Service picked up by Fields. Out to McKenzie on the outside. Put down by Corley and Hausler. Score 5-3, UNT pulling forward. Service picked up. Out to Johnson in the middle. It's picked up by Galdera. Out to Robinson on the outside, off the platform of Taylor. And in the rafters, Johnson unable to send it back over. It's UNT's ball once again. And Rivers' hit is no good. Galdera on a serving run here. Out to McKenzie on the outside. It's picked up by Butler. Galdera will help. Robinson on the outside. Battle at the net. Hausler backs off. Out to Corley on the offside. Right into the block. It's going to be number 2, Johnson, to put her down. Johnson heading back to the line to serve. We have number 5, Destine Can, to come in for Grambling State. Butler to Hausler in a beautiful hut just to the left of that block. They're able to trick him. She went up and had an open net. Number 10 for UNT, Pua Beasley, making an appearance here in Mean Green Village after Addison Corley comes off. It'll be Galdera. Butler out to Robinson. Off the block, it's Robinson's kill. A little bit of some cleanup there. We'll put the game back on track with Pua Beasley still serving for UNT. Out to McKenzie. Off the platform of Kenzie Smith. She knew it just after she touched it that that ball was out. UNT will serve, receive, and number 3, Sheila Borders, heads back to the line to serve.
This is Pua Beasley's first appearance this season, after only having one appearance last season and suffering a season-ending knee injury that required surgery.
And Robinson again getting the best of libero Jada Taylor. Robinson heading back to line to serve. And number 4, Raven McKenzie takes a swing at it. Kenzie Smith gets that block, giving the ball back to Robinson. Score now 11-5. Off of Taylor's hands, Fields will take a back row swing. And Robinson and Galdera are unable to cross in time, giving the ball back to Grambling State. Number 9, Destiny Johnson, back in to serve. Galdera pass, Butler out to Smith on the outside. Taylor will swing and unable to get it, but not giving up on that ball. UNT will get the serve back, and Sarah Hausler heading back to the line to serve with Alicia Johnson back in.
Like you said, a good libero doesn't give up on any ball. You even saw the line judge run out of the way to give Jada Taylor a fair chance at it.
And it will be Fields that gets the best of Sarah Hausler, but that's a very smart move by her. You know, when you have, when you're in that position where a middle blocker has to serve and has to play defense for those plays, you want to target her because she's not a defender. She's not used to getting those balls, so that's an easy turnover way. And that serve is just barely picked up by UNT. And it'll be Johnson to beat the block of Kenzie Smith in the middle, giving Jada Taylor a chance to serve. Score 12-8, UNT still leading. Off Robinson's platform, Galdera will help Smith. Butler getting a hand on it. Butler free balls it back over. Out to Johnson. Johnson's hit, no good. And Truly Livy coming in for Pua Beasley. Butler back to line to serve. Serve just barely gets over the net and falls right in front of Jada Taylor. Butler's serve is good and picked up by Taylor. Butler takes first ball. Galdera will help with Robinson in the back row. And once again, Jada Taylor finding her passes in the rafters. At this point, if I was head coach, I'd be telling her, absorb that energy more. It's harder to control that hard of a hit. You have to absorb it with your body so it doesn't skyrocket. And we talk about it almost every time we're here in Mean Green Village, how much of an advantage, a curse, and a blessing this ceiling is for the UNT team. They practice here, they play here. They don't know any different than these low ceilings. And it's really important in a fast-paced game like volleyball and to have a fast-paced offense, keep those passes low. So it genuinely, naturally teaches them by being in this gym all the time and practicing and playing. Other teams come in here aren't used to that. They usually play in coliseums. Wherever their basketball team plays, it's higher ceilings. And number 6, Kaylee Caldwell going back in to serve. And number 10, Sage Rivers back in for Grambling State. UNT having a sub. It is number 17, Ryan Brunner in for Alicia Johnson. And Levy gets her first kill of the game here today. Smith headed back to the line to serve. Score now 18-9. Off of Taylor's platform, Johnson will send it over. Levy to Butler, to Robinson on the outside. Galdera will cover. Butler out to Levy on her offside. Falls right in front of libero Jada Taylor.
If the Mean Green are able to hold the Tigers here, this will be their largest margin of victory this entire weekend.
And Smith's serve is good. And it's going to be number 10, Sage Rivers. That swings away, and it is out. Calling a timeout is Grambling State late here in this third set. Scored 20-9. UNT taking the first 2 sets. If they can close this out in just a mere 5 points, they will go home as winners here today. I'm excited to see these fresh faces on the UNT team. They're ahead by so much. Andrew Paleo's like, let's use all my subs. Let's just see what works. Let's see how these girls do in game time situations. And like we said, it's the perfect time to do it.
Exactly.
UNT is not wasting any time in huddle. There's 40 more seconds of the timeout. They're going back out there. They're having a good time. It's good to see. If Grambling State has any chance of coming back, they have to start playing smarter and not harder. Stop swinging. Oh my gosh, stop swinging. Use your tip.
You are very adamant about that one.
I can't be enough because something that's supposed to be a weapon for you and a weapon for this game is turning into their biggest conflict. Take it out of the equation. Use something else. Use an aggressive free ball. All these free balls that are going over on their side, they're just lobbing it to UNT, and UNT is able to take the time, set it up, give them a difficult free ball. Both teams making their way back to the court here now. Like I said, scored 20-9 UNT.
We've talked about a number of different adversities for this Grambling State team. Another one that I've noticed is they are a much smaller team than this Mean Green squad, only having 3 of their young ladies taller than 6 feet, whereas the Mean Green have 8 girls that are over that 6-foot mark.
And another one over that 6-foot mark is 6'4" redshirt sophomore Haley Thorne. That just went in for UNT, playing outside there.
And you saw this a lot during the Tokyo Olympics. Volleyball is a tall women's sport.
And Ryan Brunner had some good battles at the net there, but the ball will fall. Giving the ball back to Grambling State and number 18, Samira Fields. Rhett Robinson going back in for Haley Thorne. Haley Thorne, the outside from Plano, Texas, Old Dominion High School, right down the road here from Mean Green Village. Butler out to Robinson on the outside, uses the block of Johnson and Rivers to get her one. Alicia Johnson going back in and out to switch out for Sarah Hausler, and Galdera will go back to serve. Serve is on the net, picked up by Levy. Butler will set Levy again, and they call no touch on the block. Giving the ball back to Grambling State. UNT still up by quite a lot, 21-12, and up by 2 sets. This is the set that will end the game and get Andrew Paoleo his 150th win. And Robinson hits that corner. Wide open corner, a great shot for her. Out for Grambling State is number 2, Tamaria Johnson. Libero Taylor back in. And Pua Beasley back in for UNT. Out to Mackenzie, she swings and no good. Ball back to Pua Beasley, score now 23-13. UNT just 2 points away from closing it out. And they're gonna call a challenge on that last ball. I'm not exactly sure what they're challenging or what they saw, but the down ref will now look at the replay.
Well, while we're looking at this challenge and taking a moment for the down ref to make his decision, what do you think of these mean green uniforms? We saw the white ones with the green gradient sleeves. This one is the opposite of that, black with green gradient sleeves. What's the thought?
I think I like the white better. I think white just looks so clean, and they have the all white shoes and the all white knee pads. I think white looks awesome. I like the white and the black gradient ones. I think my least favorite are the greens.
Green is a hard color to pull off, especially in the jersey aspect of any sport, really. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a green jersey, which is interesting, as this is the mean green. You'd think there'd be more green in their uniform setups.
I think green as an accent color is great.
Yeah,
so it looks like the ruling on the court still stands. It's going to be UNT's ball and Pua Beasley's serve. Score is still 23-13 late in this third set. UNT just 2 points away from closing it out here in Mean Green Village. And an attempted tip by Sage Rivers, and Hausler puts it down. Pua Beasley to serve on game point for UNT. UNT fans standing up with their talons in the air on game point. And just like that, UNT takes Grambling State in 3-0. Final score of this third set, 25-13. And congratulations to Andrew Paoleo on his 150th win. Thank you for coming and watching and listening to us. We had a great time. My name's Mercedes Zaragoza. I'm here with Amanda Batchelder, and we will see you next time.